4 years ago, I told you what would happen if Joe Biden got into office.
Donald Trump has a people problem.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
While Grandpa Fruit Loops rages on about Crooked Joe and his unjust prosecutions and persecutions, there's a truth out here that really has him freaking out. And it's not Joe Biden, it's America. The people are talking about walking.
The real key here is this 59% of Haley voters who say that they would not vote for Donald Trump should he become the nominee.
Trump was up early again, sitting on his golden toilet, hacking away like the insane sociopath that he is, crying about Biden and Jack Smith and the fake news, blah, 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 blah. The very strict rules and regulations of the Department of Injustice state clearly you can't prosecute a political opponent or anyone right in the middle of his or her campaign. Sorry, Donnie, but the wind is blowing in your direction, and I don't think you're going to like it. Trump has been repeatedly fact-checked and called out for his lies, which now exceed 30,000 since 2016. But he continues to whine that Biden is behind all these prosecutions, including 34 felony counts in New York, 37 counts stemming from his stealing classified documents under the Espionage Act, plus an indictment by Smith on 3 additional charges against Trump, 1 count of unlawful retention of national defense information, and 2 new ones for obstruction of justice.
But wait, there's more.
Another indictment for his attempt to overturn the 2020 election and 13 election crime counts in Georgia. Trump is facing 91 indictments as well as civil lawsuits that may bankrupt him and force tiny fingers to sleep on Rudy's sofa.
Don't do this to me.
But here's the part that MAGA and Trump should be fearing. The vast majority of these indictments weren't brought by judges or prosecutors, but instead grand juries. U.S. citizens, Democrats, Republicans, and independents have spent months reviewing the facts in these cases and chose to bring these charges forward. And if Nikki Haley is right,
nearly every day, Trump drives people away.
And if Nikki Haley is right,
and Donald Trump was totally unhinged,
the people will not vote for a convicted felon, especially for one who orchestrated a coup and continues to lie about the results of the last election.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us.
This is all about the people. Trump has won twice, and in those 2 elections has lost by over 6 million votes. The Electoral College, an undemocratic weapon favoring Republicans and definitely not democracy, makes Democrats even work harder to make this republic work. Only one Republican in 36 years has won the majority of voters in a presidential race, so that brings the whole race down to about 7 states. You know them as swing states, and while Trump can lie about judges and prosecutors, he can't deny the truth. Republicans are starting to turn on him.
I don't believe Donald Trump can beat Joe Biden.
And more disturbingly for him, not just in swing states, but in states like South Carolina. Earlier, you heard this soundbite. 59% of voters in South Carolina, not exactly a bastion of progressive thought, they were the first state to secede from the Union in the Civil War, 59% of Haley's voters won't vote for Trump in a national election.
then the next day, Unhinged again says, for anybody that supports Nikki Haley, you will be barred from MAGA. So we had a little fun with that. We started selling T-shirts that said barred permanently.
By now, everyone knows Trump. Everyone knows his odd cognitive quirks, his cruelty, and his complete lack of loyalty. But we've yet to see him face the kind of rebellion that seems to be brewing.
That's why I refuse to quit. South Carolina will vote on Saturday. But on Sunday, I'll still be running for president. I'm not going anywhere.
Haley is smart. She's seen these numbers and is counting on one of 3 things, of which more than one is a likely possibility. 1, Trump will be convicted and the Republican Party will have an internal revolt and refuse to nominate a man who engineered a coup against our democracy. Or 2, Trump's legal problems will literally bankrupt him and no amount of $400 sneakers will be able to resuscitate his campaign. Or 3, both of these come to fruition and Trump backs Haley with the hope of a presidential pardon. Of course, that pardon would not apply to Georgia or New York crimes, so Trump might flee.
Young man, there's no need to feel down.
There's, of course, a 4th possibility. Trump wins enough electoral votes to become president, and we all know where that leads. Trump's people problem starts with women. Overturning Roe has been a disaster for Republicans, but nothing like what is brewing in Alabama. Even though Trump and some MAGA cultists have voiced support for IVF, judges and the Mike Johnsons of the world, all propped up by Trump, are calling for a dystopian movement where women would not only be prosecuted and jailed for abortions, but denied contraception and alternatives to conception because of the MAGA evangelical connection. That irony aside, that fringe religious groups would hang their hats on an immoral sociopath illustrates the disconnect with Americans. Alabama women and men don't want restricted access to IVF treatments. It's evangelical judges, freed to be insane by Trump and MAGA, who are poisoning the futures of young couples across Alabama. And if Mike Johnson has his way, the entire nation. Sure, Johnson is a punchline, but he's also third in line to the presidency.
What the hell did you just say?
The MAGA Republicans want to push evangelical Christianity down our throats, and Americans are starting to realize everything that encompasses. And with a 6-3 SCOTUS right-wing majority, it's sinking in. Clarence Thomas has indicated he would support a ban on morning after pills and even allow states to ban contraception. Well, seeing the citizens of Alabama beginning to rise up against their own Supreme Court, it might be the beginning of the end for Trump and his idiot brigade of mouth-breathing sycophants. Nikki Haley represents the perfect choice for Republicans trying to escape this, and maybe for independents. And that's not good for Democrats and probably America as well. She opposes federal protections for LGBT and has been silent on book bans and DeSantis' crazy rewrites of U.S. history. But she's not Trump, and for the same Americans who are finally standing up for themselves after 7 years of insanity, that may be enough. Either way, Biden or Haley will have to deal with a small plurality who still want to shoot immigrants at the border or have mass deportations or restrict all access to abortion, IVF treatments, and birth control, and then rewrite our nation's troubled history so their little snowflakes won't have to know the truth. There are over 350 million people in this country, and for the last decade, Trump has terrorized each and every one. From weak incels like Ted Cruz to young mothers seeking asylum from Central American warlords and drug gangs, it's finally time to hear their voices. But the slam dunk on Trump's insanity might be his reaching out to black voters. First with sneakers.
I was on social media last night. Very interesting as you see black support eroding from Joe Biden. This is connecting with black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love this is a big deal.
And then with this.
Then I got indicted a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me.
Trump really believes that his amoral character might make him appealing to African Americans, but might be the most revealing insight as to who Trump is morphing into. No one likes this guy anymore. Sure, MAGA will still vote, but you can feel the growing uncertainty in the Republican Party.
I'm as mad as hell.
That's America talking. What happens next is up to us.
Who's with me?
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Am I wrong? Damn right.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.